Now, the story goes that Subaru almost bailed on Toyota in their partnership to make this car. Apparently, Subi thought it was kind of not them to make anything that's front engine and rear wheel drive. It's been a long time for them. Luckily, they thought about it and thought better, because the result is one of the great, affordable, honest sports cars of the last 45 years. Let's drive the 2013 Subaru BRZ and check the tech. Toyota 2000 GT, Datsun 240Z, Mazda Miata. The pantheon of cars of this ilk is pretty small, but pretty well loved. But the last time Subaru made anything front engine and rear drive was 1954, something called the 1500. It's not in anybody's pantheon except perhaps Mr. Magoo's. Now, the BRZ is basically built on a revised version of the Impreza platform, so you could say it shares some DNA with the WRX. But the familiar relationship is a bit distant, as you can see. Weight saving's a big part of the story, though. That hood's always aluminum. That roof never has glass in it. And that back end is always a trunk, not a hatch. Now, under the BRZ's featherweight aluminum hood, you're going to find a 2-liter flat-4 engine, classic Subaru boxer stuff. 4 cylinders, horizontally opposed, 2 per each side, kind of lives right over the front axle line, neither fore or aft. It has both port and direct injection, which is sort of the new fashion these days. 2 liters of displacement gets you 200 horsepower, a rather tepid 151 foot-pounds of torque, however. We're going to encounter that on the road in a minute. 0 to 60, though, happens in a happy enough 6.7 seconds for a car that weighs a little under 2,800 pounds. That's pretty svelte by today's standards. You're going to get 2230 mpg with a 6-speed, or a much better 2534 if you get the automatic. But don't. All these cars go out to the 6-speed manual as a base configuration. It's more for that auto. And they all go to the rear wheels through a limited slip differential. Subaru put that money in the right place. This head unit with navigation is standard, so I applaud Subaru for throwing that in, basically. But it's not much to write home about. The interface is just okay. There's also voice command, but They also squandered the opportunity to give this car a rear camera. Here's the screen, but a rear cam's not even available. Overall, the navigation system's entirely functional, but it's not a pretty interface. On the audio side, AM and FM both have HD radio ability. There's satellite radio, as you can see, Bluetooth streaming. They've also got a USB and an aux jack down here on the console, and it'll also handle SMS text. Now, the first thing you notice about the BRZ is it's got this little flat spot, which we've seen before in some of the Edmunds charts on the dyno. And it doesn't have a lot of torque to begin with, as I pointed out. 150-something foot-pounds is not prodigious. But it loves to rev the way a Honda S2000 used to. And the balance is nice. You can kick the rear end out easily. If you look down here, I've got this stability-controlled sport profile. It keeps you a little bit out of trouble, but it lets you hang the button rather flashily when you really want to. I like to kill it all the way, which I can't do, but it's a lot of fun anyway. You need to keep this guy on cam. More or less 4,000 and above keeps you in the power bands, the way it feels to me. Very light car, not just in the numbers, but it's really light in the way it feels. Not every light car feels light. This one does. And it's quite responsive when you want to get a snap. Like here, we're doing a 888 on our track, and you can kick this thing around and around, and it pretty much won't bite you in the ass, unless you get real stupid, which I've been known to do. The rigidity of this car is one of the things that sets it apart from some of the other vehicles of this type that are open tops. There's just no two ways about having a car that's got a good top on it to keep things really firm and rigid. And I'm not a huge fan of the note of Subaru motors usually, but this one sounds great. And it revs real freely, and it's a happy little engine. Hello, Betty. Now, pricing a BRZ CNET style is an exercise in simplicity. You start with the base car at $25,495 delivered, then add the limited package. That's $2,000 more. That's going to get you fog lights, high-intensity discharge headlights, leather trim, a spoiler on the back, and automatic temperature control. There's an $1,100 option for an automatic, but you're not going to do that.